What's good, y'all? Once again, want to welcome y'all back to OG Suicide in the building. Thank y'all for tuning in, tapping in as always. And today I got my loved one on the show with me, West Coast KB. What's good, family?
What's up, OG?
Oh, man, everything good, man. Can't complain.
Yeah, same.
Can't complain. You know what I mean? How was the trip coming out?
It was fun, you know. I took my kid to Santa Monica. I like coming out to LA on vacation now. You know?
Okay.
It was good to come down here to meet you.
Oh, yeah, mandatory. I appreciate that. And where was you actually, born?
Well, I'm from a town just south of New Orleans, in Louisiana.
Okay.
Yeah, smaller town. I moved to New Orleans when I was 15.
Yeah?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, and your hometown, what was life like?
Small town, you know, everybody, there's no secrets there.
Okay.
Everybody knows everybody, you know.
And everything.
Yeah. It's a crazy place.
Oh, okay.
It's a strange place. Yeah. But growing up there, I'm not gonna act like I had it terrible. You know, my mom worked 3 jobs. My dad was in the oil field, so he was gone 28 days at a time. And so was my grandfather. My grandfather was like my second dad.
Okay.
And having a dad in the oil field, he missed a lot of stuff. He wasn't there all the time, but I was well taken care of. I didn't go without as a kid.
Okay.
It was all good until I was about 10, 11 years old.
Okay. What happened around that time?
So my mom and I, we grew up in a 1-bedroom house. It was just her and I, and she met my stepdad at the time. They ended up having my little sister in the year 2000.
Okay.
In 2000, we moved directly next door into a mobile home, like a camper, not a camper, but a trailer.
Yes.
So it was us 3. Whenever they started having marriage problems, my mom went literally directly the street over was a boat company that supplies to oil rigs. My mom became a secretary there in the midst of her divorce. When she started working there, she met the owner's son. This is a crazy part of the story, I know, but they got ridiculous money. Like, blessed.
Okay.
My mom and him ended up getting married. But I said I was going to tell the truth, I'm going to tell the truth. My mom said she didn't know, but this guy had a terrible drug problem. Crack. Every day of his life. 20, 30 million in the bank. Why he chose to smoke crack every day, I have no idea. 5 months after they were married, I was sent to boarding school. I was 12, 13 at the time.
Why is that?
Why I think it is or why they think it is?
Well, why you think it is?
Because I was a teenage kid that wanted to smoke weed and party. What I think was I was a blemish to a fairy tale story that they were trying to live.
Okay.
They didn't want the responsibility of having to raise a teenage kid, you know. My mom's first marriage, completely fine, you know. She wouldn't have married into money. I don't think I'd be sitting here right now. I think I would be in Louisiana, probably working in a dead-end job in the oil field. But her marrying this guy, it kind of fucked up a lot of stuff. I wasn't bad in school.
Okay.
I got good grades in school, but I felt like I was a blemish to a fairy tale story they were trying to live. You know, I found out he had a drug problem. He was very abusive towards us, towards my mom.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like verbal or physical?
Verbal, physical.
Yeah?
Yeah. My mom caught him chopping up crack one day. She chopping it up on the plate. She grabbed it with the razor blade, and he grabbed her hand, and it cut all her hand open. I remember that vividly.
Yes.
So yeah, I go to boarding school. Now keep in mind, this dude is blessed, you know, but he's trapped in his own world down there. He's still down there to this day doing the same thing. They divorced now. They've been divorced for like 13 years now.
Wow.
So when I come home from boarding school, at this point, me and my father have barely any relationship. My mom married a multimillionaire. My dad's gone half the time. So he probably felt, if I had to guess, he probably felt there's not much he could do from a distance. Plus, he married this miserable bitch, too. It was crazy. I was blessed with two fucked up step-parents.
She was mean to you as well?
Oh. I think it's because my dad was gone so long.
Okay.
So when he would come home,
yes,
then me and my brothers would go there. So now she has to share her time with my dad. So she made it as unpleasant as possible. When I came home from boarding school, that was my first time in an institution. It was a guys and girls boarding school. It was a point system. You had to work your way out
by earning points.
Yeah, but if you did something bad, you got points deducted.
Okay.
Now, something bad could be something as simple as leaning against a wall. It was monitored. There was rules for everything.
They was petty.
Very. And I'm gonna be honest. It cost $3,000 a month to keep your kid there. It was for troubled kids. I met people there from all over the world who was there for all kind of reasons, from drugs to gangs to video game addiction, everything. Disrespecting their parents, you know. I met a lot of there's a couple people I still keep in touch with to this day.
Oh, okay.
Through there. I got a friend in South Korea. I met him in there. You know,
how was it in there?
It's something that no teenager should have to go through.
Okay.
There's other alternatives, I feel like, because that place to this day, as I look back, it didn't do me no good. It made me resentful to my mom. You married into money?
Yes.
And then I go to a boarding school 6 months later?
Yes.
You know, while that you couldn't afford to pay that before you got married. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to take his side. He's a whole junkie. He's a crackhead. You're not with him for his looks?
Yeah. You feel like he wanted to get rid of you?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be in the picture?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was a blemish into a fairy tale story.
Yes.
That they were trying to live. That's how I feel to this day. To this day, it still gets brought up. Me and my mom have an argument, and she brings something up, and I love my mom to death.
Understood.
I said I'm gonna be honest. You know, I'm gonna be honest about everything, about her, my father, my whole upbringing. When I got out of boarding school, I was 13, my 13, 14 area. My grandfather was still around. My grandfather was like another dad, one of the smartest people I've ever met.
Okay.
My mom and this guy obviously started having marriage problems. You know, I come home from boarding school and I see what I come home to. Now, keep in mind, we live in a bomb-ass house. Our house was immaculate on 40 acres and a mule. 40 acres and a mule.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice house. And, like, it's crazy when you look on the outside, you see this nice place, you see this. But it was so miserable. It was terrible. It was terrible. At that younger age, my dad's not in the picture at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I got this stepdad who, like, when I got out, I did so well in school because in the boarding school I was in, it excelled you in school. So when I got out, I was straight. I promise you, 4.0, I can show you my report card. I'm not stupid.
Yes.
He would publicly, but in front of me tell her, I'm not paying for him to go to school. When it's time for him to go to college, I'm not paying for that. He better get a scholarship. He better get grants. You know what I mean? At that age, I didn't understand. As I look back, you're right. It's not your responsibility. But you got to realize, My dad's not in the picture no more because of you. You know?
And he paid for you to go to boarding school.
He paid for me to go to
But you don't
boarding
want to pay
school.
for college.
I wasn't old enough to throw that out there.
Understood.
Yeah. So my grandfather's still around this time. My grandfather liked him at one point, but at this point he didn't. My grandfather didn't even walk my mom down the aisle. I did whenever she got married.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did. So in the midst of their problems, we would move out of this big house. We moved to my grandmother's house. My grandmother was in a nursing home. She was old. My grandmother lived to be 103, but we moved out the big house. He pretty much put us out, cut my mom's credit cards off. Me, my mom, and my sister would move into my grandma's house, and they would get back together, and we moved back home, and we start the whole process over. I'd wake up at 4 a.m, and he'd have some of my friends I went to school with. He'd have their older cousins and uncles over there at 4 a.m. balling crawfish, high as a kite. But when those guys would come over to the house, I'd see them. You know, they wouldn't do drugs. They'd wear clean clothes. They drive clean rides. They'd have fine girls with them. So the only thing I feel like I learned from him, is crazy to say, is like, I didn't want to be nothing like him.
Yes.
I'd rather be like them guys. What are you talking about? This dude, he got money, but, you know, he's tormenting everybody. Nobody likes to be around him. It's negativity. He's in and out of rehab, in and out of jail even. You know what I mean? We were staying back at my grandma's house one time, one of their episodes, and I had called my mom. This was 2011. I called my mom, and she was in hysterics. My grandfather ended up committing suicide after their divorce. So my grandfather was like my dad.
Wow.
He was a very intelligent person.
Yes.
The friendliest guy you'd ever meet. He held my mom's side of the family fuck ups. Everybody. They all depended on him. After my mom's divorce, and he did that, I think him and my mom, I'm sure I could review all the paperwork if I want to, but I don't want to feel any more resentment.
Yes.
But I think him and my mom had business deals or money stuff going on that required my stepdad. You know, and when they divorced, I think that put my grandfather in the hole, and he worked his whole life. You know, I could be wrong, but he wrote his will he changed his will 2 weeks before he committed suicide. And he wrote my mom out and wrote her sister out. And that's his only 2 kids. He left everything to my cousin who was 21. The only thing he left to me was a house, my grandma's house, but it was split 2 ways, but I'm going to get to that in a second. My cousin fucked the whole family over. Took off with everything. To this day, everything's gone. He had left her 4 properties. It wasn't a lot of money, like $70,000. She got everything repossessed. Lost everything. So,
have you heard from your cousin?
I don't fuck with her. Nah. If we go 5 years without talking, obviously, which has been longer than that, obviously you don't need me and I don't need you. So don't call my phone and I ain't gonna call yours. But they so we still living in my grandmother's house. Me, my mom, and my sister. My grandfather kills himself. My mom gets on pills and alcohol. I didn't care about the weed, but my mom, I find her on the chair one day can't believe I can't believe I'm actually sitting here telling. Because if you think of it back then, did I ever think I'm gonna be in LA telling these stories? I found her on the chair in the living room, comatose, overdose, eyes wide open. Called the ambulance. She had eaten like 40 pills. They take her, bring her to a mental house. She's brought to rehab. Now keep in mind, I'm 14, 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather just died. I don't talk to my dad. My stepdad and my mom divorced. He don't fuck with us. My mom's in rehab.
Wow.
How much am I supposed to be able to take?
That's a lot.
I'm in a house where the bank could come foreclose on it any day now. I don't talk to no one. I could go stay at my nanny's house, which is my mom's sister. She has 7 kids. I'm sleep on the floor in the living room. I'm still in school, getting myself ready every day, still going to school.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I started doing my thing. And if you know me, you know what my thing is. It's been the same thing. I ain't have nowhere else to turn. They left me no other option.
You feel like they left you for dead?
Yeah. I was set up to fail from the jump. Then I was never given no fair shot. And I don't even complain about it. You know what I mean? I don't bitch about it. But I was 15 when that happened. I don't know. You know, they say adversity builds character. Well, I just had to face a fuck ton of it very early, at a young age. You know. By the time I was 17, I had my own place. I moved to New Orleans about when I was like 16, 17, yeah. I was out. My mom got out of rehab, ended up going back with my stepdad. Now they divorced. You know what I mean? Hoping by some miracle he'll change. You know? I'm 17. I ended up dropping out of school. I went to this private school where you went 2 times a week. You had to pay like $300 a month, which I paid. It wasn't school. You didn't learn shit there. It was just something to get your diploma and you was out. You know? I ended up moving to New Orleans at 17. I think it's the best decision I could have made at that young of an age to be able to realize everything is falling apart. You got to do something. I couldn't even, everybody else goes to work out there, you know, whether they weld or they work offshore. I couldn't do that yet. I'm only 16, 17. You can't go out to work. I could go get a job at a grocery store.
Yes.
But I felt like not my ego, but if people would see me working at a fast food joint, or even though I was that young, my mom was just married to this rich ass guy. So I felt like I had an ego to support for whatever reason. You know, because it's a small town. Everybody knows. At one point, I feel embarrassed.
Everybody talk.
Yeah, everybody talk. There's something I left out. Even though he was, even though he was a terrible person, you remember when my mom went to work there, it was a street away from our camper trailer.
Okay.
His dad lived right on the side of their business. Like the boat company that she worked at, his dad's house was right on the side. Some of the nicest people I've ever met. Humble people. His dad, his stepmom, and his younger sister, the nicest people you'd ever meet. They were so genuine. They had all that money and they were humble. They didn't look down upon no one, because I met his younger sister before he met my mom, because we grew up in the same neighborhood pretty much. It was just a street away. And, you know, they never looked down on me because they had more, or they always welcomed me to go over there and, you know, play at their house and stuff. Yeah, so when I was I'm 17, I'm living in New Orleans. My main goal is to save up enough money to go to school. Now, I remember meeting my first source. My friend told me introduced me. So I'm nervous. I'm in New Orleans. You know, I remember meeting my first guy. So I remember the day it happened. I'm not gonna say my friend's name, but
Yeah, you don't have to.
We pulled up to Tulane campus, which is like the medical university. That's where everybody go to be doctors. And I'm like, man, what the fuck? How the fuck we gonna pull up at Tulane? Then we go to the dorms. I'm even more mesmerized. I'm like, man, I don't think people in college get down.
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah.
Man, I go inside and it's like 3 nerdy dudes playing Pokemon cards. And one of those guys happened to be the man. So now I talked to him about everything that I had going on. I looked at him as a blessing because I got somebody I could trust. I know he's not going nowhere. And that really started me off to my platform to jump up and get out of there. My main goal was to get the fuck. I wanted to get out of Louisiana. It was just so much hurt. You know, my back was against the wall at such a young age that like I just wanted to get away from it, start over new. So not long after I met my guy, this girl I went to school with, I grab me something to drink real quick.
Yeah, do your thing.
This girl I went to school with, her brother randomly calls me one day. And I don't know if it was on Facebook or what, but he was like, you still doing your thing? And I didn't know what to tell him. I told him no. You know what I mean? I'm like, I barely knew him, but he was like, oh, I just moved to Denver. You know, the rush is about to start. You know what I mean? The rush.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it told me a little bit more about it. And I remember taking my first flight. I flew out to Denver. I'm not even 18 yet. I didn't even know how to get on the plane. I remember I bought my ticket at the counter and I sat right in front of security until I heard my name called on the speaker. That was last call. I hadn't never been on an airplane before.
Yeah, it was new to you.
Yeah. So I ended up going out to Denver. It was for something petty, but it wasn't nothing major. But my guy from New Orleans, once I got out there, he became my guy. You know what I'm saying? And I ended up just staying in Colorado. It was cold. It was cold, but it was a fresh start. You know what I mean? It was a breath of fresh air getting out there. I'm not balling at this point by any means necessary. I'm staying down. I'm staying on his couch. You know what I mean? Like I'm nowhere near, but I'm not in Louisiana. I'm not around the bullshit. You know, that was good with me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what it was. If he was on, yeah, that's what it was. I stayed out there for a year or so. I did what I had to do there, but my partner there was, he was bad on pills, and he's bad on, I can't remember what it was, but I don't like hardcore drugs or stuff that could take your life, or, you know, I'm not a drug user myself. I'm not a saint, but I've never done nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? I just don't like to be around that shit. I ended up leaving Denver and going back to Louisiana. Why I did that? I felt like I was locked in with him already, so I didn't go out to meet more people. Or I ended up going back to Louisiana. At this point, I'm 18, 19. I ended up getting me a spot out there. I ended up taking some kind of big L. I remember this because I ended up moving back home with moms. My mom's was done with that guy. and she was still living in my grandma's house.
Okay.
Now, over the time, there's money owed on the house, so they literally could come take this thing like any day now. Not long after I moved down, she ended up having my little sister,
Okay.
my youngest one. She's 10 now. After I moved down, I'm doing my thing, but I kind of diverted to other stuff which I shouldn't have been affiliated with. It was hard times. I ended up losing everything. I'm living with my mom. You know what I mean? I'm 19, 20 years old. She would fly off the handle. Like, she's like, I don't know if she's been diagnosed, but she's bipolar. She's very bipolar.
She showed signs.
Oh, yeah. When my mom flashes out, she break everything in the house. You know what I mean? When she flashes, she flashes. Even as a kid, she would flash the fuck out. One night she ended up getting mad at me for whatever reason. Now keep in mind we in a small town. She ends up getting mad at me. I forget over what. It's been a minute. Calls the police.
On you?
On me. Police get there. She shows them where some stuff's at. I'm arrested. For the first time. Yeah. And from both my sisters. Now my sister meant the world to me. My little sister, my baby sister, I didn't have no kids at the time. I would try and do what I could. My grandpa's not there no more. That's the only thing that, that's the only thing that held that family together. I tried to be there as much as I could. At the time, I don't know, I was simple-minded back then. Instead of saving, it was always about, I can make this and go buy this and make it back. And, I was content. When I left Denver and moved back down there, it's like, if all else fails, I can go get me a job. And I'll stay down here. It's all good. Well.
Did you ever have to get a job at any point?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna get to it. But at this point, no. I'm in jail. My mom got me arrested. I lost all my money. The car I had got taken. I didn't know the legal system this well back then, but it wasn't much. I mean, it was a grip of what I was in jail for, but it wasn't that. It wasn't like I made the news or nothing. But this is my first offense. But I went to jail for I went to jail for 6 months. No money in my books. Nobody to call. My girlfriend at that time, her mom was a lawyer, a divorce lawyer. They didn't want her talking to me. And as I look back, I can't blame them. I got a daughter now. I wouldn't want her talking to somebody like that because it didn't look like I was going anywhere. I'd be the first one to say it. I didn't have nothing going on back then. I could never blame them.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
At least you honest about it.
Nah, there's no way. Like, back then, I could see, like, they got a problem. Back then, I didn't like it, but now that I'm older, I see. I wouldn't want my daughter talking to somebody like I was back then. Just because, like, the odds of me getting out and making something, it was slim to none. If you could bet on it in Vegas, I better have paid $100,000 to 1. Nobody makes it out of there. Much less lives long enough to talk about it. Much less be able to be in Los Angeles sitting down with you talking about it.
It's meant to be.
Yeah. Jail was better than the boarding school I was in. I'm not scared of jail. I'm not scared of that shit. I wasn't scared when I went in. Some people are scared of it until they see what it is. Then they not. But once I saw what it was, that shit ain't even. I was 13 doing this shit. Once I seen what it was. When I was in that boarding school, it'd be 2, 3, 4 months before you could talk to your parents before you talk to anybody, you gotta write letters. They got a phone on the wall in jail. You could pick up at any time. So when I went in there, the worst thing was being hungry, obviously. I ain't have no money in my books. And what's crazy is when I see people in there and they see me, and they be like, man, you fucked up like that. I'm like, I lost everything, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even know how I'm getting home when I get out this motherfucker. I don't even got a home to go to. And that's the first time it happened. That's my mom. So halfway through me fighting my case, me and my mom's made up. I felt bad, you know. I was at her house, you know, even, you know, I disrespected her and my sisters by even doing that. It's fucked up what she did, but I admit it's fucked up what I did.
Okay.
Halfway through, me and my mom's kind of talked on the phone, and it was good for the time being. And they ended up at my second court date. They offered me 3 and 5, 3 years suspended. No, 3 years paper, 5 years suspended. That was my first offer. I could have beat the charge. I didn't have no money for a lawyer. I didn't want to sit in jail. They say, oh, sign here. You could go home today. You know, you on probation. You got suspended sentence. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I mean? People probably do that.
Yeah.
That can't beat. They ain't got the fight in them, or their first offense don't know. If I could go back in time now with no money, I would have sat. But when you go to court and they say you could go home today, just, you know, sign on 3 years probation, 5 years suspended.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I did.
Did you end up going back?
Close.
Mm.
My mom picked me up
Okay.
from jail. I'll be the first one to admit it. I turned 21. I turned 21 in jail. Now, at this point, I have nothing. Zero. I remember leaving to go home. We get to the house. I had hid like some petty $500 somewhere in the house. Well, when I got home, I went to get it, and it was gone.
Mm.
And she said, you know, oh, I found that. You know, so I'm thinking, so you mean to tell me you got me put in jail? I lost all my money, and the $500 I had left, you took. You know, I walked out the house. That was it. I went. My grandfather had some apartments in a small town, like 30 minutes away. And my cousin, she's a bitch. She's a greedy motherfucker, but she let me go stay there. I called her. I said, I have nowhere to go. I have no car.
Your only option.
I get there. There's no lights. There's no hot water. There's no furniture. I have no money. Literally, no money. I got an air mattress. I hooked up an extension cord. It was a duplex. I ran it. From the outlet outside, inside, and blew my air mattress up. I called my ex-girlfriend at the time, the one that her mom was a lawyer. They didn't want me talking to. I definitely can't. At this point, I definitely can't blame them now. I said, look, I ain't got nothing to offer you. Just bring me around, fill out job applications. That's it. Just bring me around, fill out job applications.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to get on as a deckhand on a boat. If you're not familiar, it's tough work. Tough. You know them barges that haul corn and wheat and stuff? It's like you tying those things up. You know what I'm saying? You taking care of the boat. You changing the oil. And I don't know none of this at this point, but I put application after application everywhere. I get hired on. You need a TWIC card, which is simple. So I got my TWIC card. I get hired on. I said, look, keep me out there for 6 months. I just did 6 months in jail. I didn't tell them that, but I just did 6 months in jail. Keep me out there. You know, I need it. They said, you could pull 2 years straight if you want. I said, well, you just keep me out there as long as you're not spending no money.
Yes.
I have no bills. So keep me out there. They hired me on. I take my physical, my drug test. I pass. And they said, all right, you're going to leave on Tuesday. I went and get me some weed and smoke. It got high. I'm about to leave for 6 months.
Yes.
I'm gonna go smoke. I'm still smoking at this point. My probation officer calls me. My probation officer calls me on Sunday. She called me from her cell phone. I remember on Sunday. She said, Caleb, I need you in my office tomorrow just for your standard meeting. So I'm like, I'm leaving to go offshore tomorrow. I'm really leaving on Tuesday, but I told her, I'm leaving to go offshore tomorrow. Does it have to be tomorrow? She's like, yeah, I need you to come in. I'm like, all right. So I come in. Now keep in mind, me and my mom, I walked out of my mom's house. I didn't change my probation address.
Nothing.
No, I wasn't thinking about it. I'm green at this point. She walked, well, I went to meet with her. She said, why I showed up at your mom's house? And she said, you moved out. I said, bro, you gotta be shitting me. So she piss tests me. I failed for weed. Locks me up. The day before I start my job. I know this job is gonna help me get
everything.
Yeah, to get to where I'm, at least something to start,
Mm-hmm.
Locks me up again. 90 days. Man. So now I'm in there again. I really don't know how I'm getting home because I'm definitely not talking to moms right now. I ended up doing the 90 days. I got out. I'm staying. A week before I got out, I left my phone with my cousin or my ex or somebody. A boat company called. Like, Caleb, can you start this day? We had your application from 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yeah. How about this day? Because they three-wayed me with the jail phone. They don't know I'm in jail. I'm like, I'm working another job. How about this day? We could do that? They're like, yeah. I'm like, well, I want to stay out there for like 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I get out. When I got out, when my ex was a rider. I don't care what she did while I was in jail, what she had going on. I wasn't clingy on her. Believe it or not, I wouldn't have wanted to be with somebody like me. But she took me out, took me to Walmart, bought everything I needed to get on there. And I left from jail. And I pulled 6 months out there. Now, when I got out there, it was like a breath of fresh air. It was like going to Denver again. You know what I mean? I couldn't help but to think about all the stuff I had been through. But, slowly, I felt like I could make up for it. At this point, I didn't have nobody. My mom, my dad Ben stopped talking to me at this point.
Are y'all cool now?
Yeah.
Yeah? How was that relationship with you and your dad?
He's a smart guy. He's worked his whole life. He's still working. He's at work right now. But he gave up on me.
He gave up?
Yeah, he gave up.
Why is that, you think? Because of the lifestyle you chose?
Well, like, originally it was smoking weed.
Okay.
He looked at weed like crack. There was no difference. People down there tell you, like, them older people in South Louisiana, crack, weed, heroin, it's all the same.
Yeah.
There's no
drug is
my grandfather today tell you. But, I left out the story. My brother overdosed on prescription medication. So they always looked at his drug as absolute
When
demonic.
was that? When did that happen?
2011.
2011.
A year after my grandfather killed himself.
Wow.
Yeah.
You think that drove your brother into using prescription drugs?
No. It was a different grandfather. Me and my brother have the same dad.
Okay.
Now, my brother ended up working on the boats like I was, and he was miserable with it. That's That's what it was. And when he would stay out there 28 days. When he come home, he'd like to have fun and go back. When my brother died, nah, I ain't gonna put it out there. But where my brother passed, the house he was at, where they was partying at, was very close to my crackhead stepdaddy. It was somebody in his family. So you can imagine how I feel about, I'm older now.
Yes.
Nobody put them drugs down my brother's throat. I have no problems with,
but he introduced,
with nobody.
But this person introduced.
No, I wouldn't even say that.
Okay.
But it happened there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, it happened there. No, I just think he wasn't happy with the way stuff turned out. Him and my dad stopped talking too. My dad was tough. Whenever we go over there when he was younger and stuff, he was like military. My dad, he would work for a month at a time, and when he come home for his 2 weeks, it's like, okay, we gotta leave our mom's house, go over there. Me and my brother have different moms. We have all the freedom at our mom's house though. We go to my dad's house, he don't let us do nothing. You know what I mean? Like we out there helping him cut the grass and
he put y'all to work.
Yeah. Which is
discipline.
It's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
I agree. I think if my dad would have raised me the whole time, the story would be different.
Okay.
I think it would. I think it would be. But my dad's career involves him being gone for a long period of time, just like today.
But he took care of y'all?
Yeah. I'll never say
y'all had no worries, or that's good. That's good.
Nah, you know what?
Provided for y'all.
He didn't. He paid his child support, and when we go over there, he wouldn't buy everything for us, but we was taken care of. We had a roof over our heads. He made good money. My dad was a good dad.
That's good.
At a young age, my mom was a good mom too. I just don't know what the fuck happened. My mom I looked up to my mom. That's my mama.
Yes.
To this day.
Yes.
Even with everything. Me and my mom, we still cool to this day. Even after everything. There's still a lot left to tell. But that's my mama. I love her to death.
Yes.
There's nothing I wouldn't do for my mom. I just felt like she gave up too. She gave up like everybody else gave up. There's not many people that stuck around that said, I believe in you gonna do something. I wish my grandpa could have lived to see.
See you now. What about your sister? You said 2 sisters or 1?
Yeah, I have 2 sisters.
2 sisters. How are your sisters? Like y'all have a good relationship? You have a good relationship with your sisters? You doing your big brother thing for sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
My younger sister, she's 10 now.
Okay.
Yeah, I love her to death. My other sister, we kind of fell out for a little while, but we talking now.
Y'all close in age?
6 years apart.
6 years apart? Okay. Why did y'all fall out?
She was in college. She ended up getting pregnant.
In college?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And she dropped out. I ain't like that. I'm trying to turn my family around. I'm going to do that.
Break the cycle?
Yeah. Yeah, my mom's side of the family, yeah. My dad's side of the family, they all, I want to say it any better way, they hardworking people. I was going to say squares, but there's nothing wrong with that. But they all hardworking people.
Okay.
It's not like nobody rich or my whole dad's side of the family worked their whole lives. Worked. My grandmother drove a school bus her whole life. My dad's dad, he worked in the oil field, just like everybody else. That's the thing to do down there,
Yeah.
That's a success story down there.
Yes.
To work a dead-end job that's gonna replace you the day after you die. You know what I mean? Like, that's...
You're definitely going to be replaced.
If that makes them happy, that's cool.
Or if you retire,
yeah,
they're going to replace you.
I told, at a young age, my grandma came to me and was like, what are you doing? You're so much better than this. And I told her, Mama, I know. I just have nowhere else to turn right now. I don't know what else I'm going to do. I don't feel like I was given a fair shake. And I don't even cry about it to this day. I don't hold no resentments to nobody. I don't want to do nobody nothing. It's just best if I don't talk to some of them people. Just stay out of my way. I don't need nothing from y'all. You know, you don't gotta worry about me no more.
Mm.
You know, when I left, I'm gonna get to it. I started working after getting out of jail. I pulled my 6 months. I come home like $14K. It was miserable. It sucked. I quit.
Yeah?
Yeah, I quit.
Why?
It was not for me.
Okay.
I pulled my 6 months.
And you only made $14,000 in
Yeah.
6 months
Yeah,
of being gone?
yeah. 6 months
Were
on the
you
boat.
spending a lot of money where you were at, or
Nope.
that's all you made?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
so they was giving you weekly.
so no, they
Wow.
pay you $120 a day
120 a day?
before taxes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I quit. It's not for me. Come home with $14K. You know what I mean? After I got my little spot I was staying in, I had like 12 grand. You know, shit, I could go do my thing again. I just gotta be careful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on parole. I mean probation.
Mm-hmm.
I was fucking with this shithead bitch at the time. And
Different one from, you said the one that you were with? Different
Yeah.
female? Okay.
yeah. The other one, she kicked rocks. I didn't tell her to, but obviously I'm surprised she stayed around that long with all the shit I had going on. And she from a wealthy family too, and she still put up with all that shit.
Okay.
You know, like now I look back, these girls like bad boys. You know, because they think you never know. She tells me to this day, you know, I seen potential in you. I would never go back that route.
Okay.
You know, we cool. We talk every once again. She's in Louisiana, where I left her. We cool. We could have a conversation.
Oh, okay. She good for a conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or for me to call her and just be like, man, thank you, bro. Like,
That's right, because she was there for you.
yeah, she was.
That's good.
She was.
That's good.
Yeah. So I quit my job. I started doing my thing. I started fucking with this shithead bitch. That's the best way I could describe it. Her people, I don't know how I always put myself in these positions. Her mom and dad didn't like me either. I mean, once again, I can't blame them. They were both doctors. My last girl was, you know, I guess I know how to, but she had a kid at a young age. She didn't get to go out at that much. I ended up taking her. We ended up going to the club one night. I remember this. And after that, she always wanted to just go out. You know, I'm staying down right now. I finally got me a place. You know, I got stuff working, you know. So one night, she says, I'm going to go out. So I called my boy. I said, hey, we're going to go out tonight. He said, no, I'm going to stay in. Because him and I was getting a bigger place. It was going to cost more money. He's like, I'm staying in. He worked, but, you know, he did his thing with me. This is my boy. I'm like, come on, man. She's going out. She's going with all her friends. Let's go with them. So we ended up going out. This is the first night I ever buy we had got bottles. It was my friend's birthday or something like that. And we left the club, him and I, and he was drunk, I was drunk. I was talking to her on the phone. I was on his phone. My phone died. And she's like, how far away are y'all? I'm like, we like 20 minutes behind you, but he was driving fast. I'm like, the way he's driving, I think we're gonna catch up to y'all. And she's like, tell him to be safe. He got his world in my passenger seat. And right after that, I looked up and we was going to a curve.
Mm.
And when we were going to the curve,
Mm-hmm.
we rode off the road. Now to this day, if I'm sleeping in a car and you hit those things on the edge of the road to wake you up,
Yes.
I promise you I'm gonna jump out my sleep because that's what it reminds me of. We bottomed out on the side of the road going so fast, 60 miles an hour. Like it was an extreme vibration on my feet, my legs. I was drunk, but I can remember this. We went up this embankment. We came back down, and we're going 60 miles an hour. We hit this ditch, and the car flipped 5 times.
Your car?
No, it was his car.
Wow.
I don't even think I didn't even have a car at this time.
Okay.
I didn't even have one. When I came to, my head was against the passenger window. And I remember like this, for whatever reason, I didn't want to look. I don't know why, but I did like this, and I felt the driver's seat, and nobody was there.
Oh.
So I sit up. The windshield isn't even broken. It's cracked a lot. The car's fucked up. So some people that watch us wreck come from behind and run to the car. And they're like, we're looking for your boy. We're looking for your boy. And then I heard somebody say, some dude come run to the car and like, your boy's gone. Your boy's dead. So obviously that makes me wake up. That's the closest I've come to being unconscious. I try opening the door of the passenger side door.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't open. I had to like, the seatbelt locked. So I had to wiggle my way out of there. I got out the back door, and I got to him. But I didn't, it was dark. I'm glad I didn't get to see. You know, that's not something I want stuck in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I put my hand behind his head, and it was just so knotted up. It was just so bad. And the ambulance pulled up. They brought I remember they had me getting put on the stretcher. They had to take me in because I was in it with them.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being on the stretcher and looking. They were putting a blue tarp over him. So every year for hurricanes hit, if you look at all the houses in Louisiana, they got blue tarps on them. So I hate seeing that shit. When the storms come, crazy enough, when the hurricanes come, that's the first thing I'm thinking about. Everybody's going to have blue tarps over them. They took me to the hospital. I was fine. I had my seatbelt on. They told me the only reason he died was because he didn't have a seatbelt on. I don't remember putting my seatbelt on that night. I would never wear my seatbelt. But they said that saved my life. My mom's came to the hospital. We weren't talking, even though she still came. My dad didn't come. My dad called, never made a phone call to me after that happened. This is 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He never called. He called my grandma. He said, was Caleb driving or the other guy driving? And my grandma said the other guy was. That's all he had to say.
So he didn't even check on you?
Nah. Through after all of this, my dad never did. All because I smoked weed. You know? I would always tell people, he didn't stop talking to me because I smoked weed. If he knew what No. He would freak out if he knew, you know.
Okay.
My dad's cool now, though. He's cool, you know.
Okay.
Everything's legal everywhere now. But dealing with that, you know, I had to call the landlord the next day. We was moving into this house, my boy and I, like, you know.
Wow.
You know, my boy's gone. And I can't tell you the feeling of losing your best friend and then in the same breath being thankful that God didn't take you with him. I got him tattooed on my hand now. I put it on my right hand because he was my right-hand man. A lot of people, bro, I'm from a small town full of stupid-ass people. A lot of people was saying I was driving, trying to put that you know what it was? And I'm going to say what it was. One of my old friends started dating his ex right around the time that he died. You know what I mean? And he stopped being cool with my boy. He did. My boy didn't give a fuck. Boy kept it player. That's me and him's cool now, so we ain't gonna. But that's the motherfucker that started that, and it's a small town. People ran with it. You know what I mean? Police hate me down there. If they could have locked me up for it, they would have. But I can't tell you how to be thankful that God spared you. In the same breath, you gotta go mourn your best friend. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go into church, see his mama. That was her only kid. I believe her other son died too. I had to go in front of her.
Wow.
So at this time, you know, I'm fucked up. I'm just like, you know, I quit my job. I got back to doing what I was doing. We getting this wreck. So moms come see me at this hospital, and you know, I'm not forgiving for a lot of people, but that's my mama. I mean, I don't know how you feel about yours, but I feel like there's not much I can't let, you know, there's not much she could do that I can't forgive her for. And especially at this point, I still have nobody. My mom's, my dad, stepdad long gone. He even been to jail and smoking crack, and fucking tricking, and the Lord knows what else. So I ended up going to stay at mom's. My place, one of our best friends, the kind of dude I'm describing, I left my place. I went to stay at mom's. I left it there. My old friends broke in and stole everything. Every dollar to my name was there. I'm recovering from a car wreck that just happened with our other best friend. So not only am my best friend just died, I just lost all my money. I just worked 6 months. You know what I'm saying? I just got back to doing my thing. You know what I'm saying? On top of that, telling people that I was driving the car. You know what I'm saying? These are supposed to be my partners. You know what I'm saying? They all went against me. I ended up, give me a second. I ended up asking somebody to help me. And this is like, it's only like 2 weeks after this has happened. I'm recovering from a car accident, and I'm out there. You know, I'm still, at the time, what I'm supposed to do. You know, I'm supposed to crash out and go do, you know, figure out who took this shit from me. They didn't take it. They stole it. You know what I'm saying?
They stole it.
They didn't do it the gangster way. You know, they did it the shiesty way. This is supposed to be my, you know, my partners. All them fools broke now. Working.
And you know exactly who it was.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, somebody close to you, because they're the only ones that can actually do stuff.
Yeah.
But it's good. You good now?
I'm good now. Somebody ended up looking out for me. If you're looking out, I'm driving down the highway. I get pulled over. Petty. It's like 3 or 4 of them. You know what I'm saying? I get arrested. I'm on my way. I'm in the back of the cop car. I'm like, I'm on probation. I'm gonna have no bond. I'm gonna sit in there. I get to the jail. I'm asking them every 5 minutes, because if the charge isn't a violent charge down there, a hold won't go on immediately. You might have 3 or 4 hours, and it's nighttime. My probation officer ain't here. You know, I get there. How much my bond? How much my bond? How much? They finally come back. It's 40K. It's 40 G's. Meaning I gotta pay 10%. You ain't got no probation hold. Say less. I called somebody. First person I called, they say, I'm on my way. They can't bond me out. Now I'm fighting the case again. My PO calls me the next day, says, "Okay, I'm gonna let you fight this from the streets, but I need you to come in my office and meet with me."
You know what that means?
You would have went?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I'd have
face the
ran.
music?
I'd have ran.
Yeah. I said, "Okay, I'm on my way." Took my phone and launched it out the window.
Because I already knew what that conversation
come
was
do your
going to
job.
be.
Come do your job, bitch. So I had court coming up. I don't have no warrants right now. I had 2 months. I ended up grinding up. Remember, they done took all my money. They took all my money. I lost everything. I went to jail. The one person had to look out for me. I got caught up. I got caught up with, So in 2 months, I ended up managed to grind up like $3-4 grand. The day before court, I called my boy. My boy got a scholarship to play football out here in Los Angeles. I called him. I said, "Bro, can I come stay on your couch for a little while? Let me figure this out. I can still do my thing down here. I could. There's a lot of stuff I can't say, but
You don't have to.
yeah. If you know, you know."
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
He said, "Yeah, that's cool." So in the midst of this, I find out my mom has a severe drug problem. And I didn't even know. It's some shit I never thought my mom would jump on. I don't want to put her out there. It's something that makes you go up, not down. That's what I'm gonna say. When I found that out, this is before I left, it's like, how much you want to put on me, bro? You know what I'm saying? My life is fucked up. And I know I made bad decisions, but you got to go through A and B to get to Z. You know what I mean?
You have to.
If it wouldn't have been for the platform that she laid out for us, like all my friends' parents, they guide them every step of the way. You know what I mean? They don't give up when they 15 and do drugs, and your kids are gonna be an exact reflection of you. Just by the grace of God, I got out of there. If I'd be still living down there, I don't think I would have been that bad off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'd have turned to drugs. I despise drugs. But my mom was on that shit, and I had to go there. I remember on my way to the airport, I had to go there, see my mom, see my sisters. I have court tomorrow. I'm not going. I had to tell them bye.
Out of here.
Yeah, I had to tell them goodbye. My sister hurt me the most. She's like 2 or 3 years old at the time. And she's living with my mom. She don't have nobody else. Her dad's a good dad, but he worked like my dad. So, and having to grow up with my mom, I know what she has to go through.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember her ask me, "Why are you leaving? Why are you leaving?" And my mom had a drug problem. We say she was sick. She says, "Mom's sick. You gonna leave me here?" And this is like a month, 2 months after losing my best friend,
Mm-hmm.
after all my other friends betrayed me,
Mm-hmm.
getting caught up. On my way to the airport, I knew it. I knew when I got out here I knew the life I wanted to live,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew what I had to do to get there. I thought I did. So the only thing left was to put it in motion. And even though I was broke, I had determination. And when my back's against the wall,
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to swing.
Have to.
So when I got out here, I ended up staying on my friend's couch, staying all the way down again. I'm not going outside. I'm not doing nothing crazy. I'm just laying back. I did that for like a month, 2 months, until he told me I couldn't. You know, he had a girlfriend moving. It's a 1-bedroom place. He had a girlfriend moving in from Louisiana, and he said, you know, one day he's like, you know, I think you should go try and find your own place. And I held resentments to him, towards him a lot, because I wouldn't have done that. But like at this point, yeah. If you staying on my couch,
You
I'll give you a
understand
month, 2 months. Yeah, I kind of do. It's not no man's responsibility.
It's not.
You know, you got your shit together. You got a scholarship.
And it gave you time to
yeah
figure it out.
Yeah.
You think you got comfortable and just...
Nope.
You didn't?
Nope.
Okay.
I was working every day.
Okay.
I was thinking, I'm nowhere near where I want to be.
Okay, I get that part.
I'm not flat though.
Yes.
You know, I can manage to go get my own place at this point. I ended up going to Chicago. Like a week later, my mom sent me to boarding school. I met my boy in boarding school. And I know he good people, and his family good people, and his girlfriend was good people. We kept in touch all them years. So I ended up going to Chicago. And I stayed out there for a month or two, and Chicago helped me.
Okay.
Chicago helped me out a lot. It was a stepping stones to get where I needed to be. From Chicago, I left. I rented a place down in Vegas with one of my friends that I met him at the college down there in my hometown. He had transferred back. He got a place in Vegas, so I'm right next to LA. You know, it's convenient. I'm back and forth, Vegas, LA. And then I heard about Northern California. They're like, man, LA's not the spot. You know, Northern California is the spot. You know, Northern California, Oregon. So, I ended up finding somebody selling grow equipment on Craigslist in Oregon. And I drove out to Oregon for the first time. And it was cool. I ended up, you know, I met a couple people. Well, the next time I went to Oregon, called some people with me, you know, trying to make more or whatever. I ended up getting in trouble. When the whole, it's a closed case, but I'm not gonna go into it. But
you don't have to.
It's not. I'm gonna tell you the charge I got charged with. But I left Oregon. I got back to Vegas. My lawyer calls me. He says, "Kay, my lawyer in Louisiana." He said, "I was sitting in the court today, and I heard a cop talking. They trying to link you to an armed robbery in Medford, Oregon." I'm like, man, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You know what I'm saying? Because some shit had happened. The hotel that it happened at was under my name. You know, I'm still green at this time, I feel like. As I look back, you ever look back and see who you were 4 years ago and like, damn, I wasn't as smart as I am now. I look back 10. So I'm like, man, fuck. So I got a hotel room in at Harris Casino in Las Vegas. And I'm like, fuck, man, I'm going to have to go deal with this shit or something. But I'm already got warrants in Louisiana. At this point, I'm thinking they extraditable. Just like the ones in Oregon, I know for sure, or this an armed robbery. They come and get you anywhere. I ended up going out in Vegas that night. Me, my boy, his girl, and one of their friends. We get back to the room, we go to sleep. I wake up the next day, and the FBI's in my room. The FBI, DEA. Nah, not DEA, but I know it was FBI for sure. They all had the FBI on there. So I'm thinking like, dude, my shit don't went federal? Like, why the feds here? And I asked one of the dudes, and they're like, Nah, we just apprehend fugitives on the strip. So I mean that was a plus. I'm like, I got my paperwork. They took like 25 grand and 11,000 in money orders. They took me off the strip. Now keep in mind, they walked me out the main entrance of Harris. And I got like 20 agents behind me, walking me out in handcuffs in front of everybody. So it was like some movie type shit. I'm freaked out. I'm freaked out. So they bring me to Henderson jail. I sat there for a month. They moved me from Henderson jail, put me in Pahrump, Nevada, like the federal intake center. And I talk to my lawyer like almost every day. He's like, your case isn't gonna go federal. The feds are transporting you. So they loaded me on a plane from Pahrump to Portland, Oregon. The whole process took like a month. They drove me down in a paddy wagon to Medford, Oregon. And I had an armed robbery case. I had 3 counts of first-degree robbery. In Louisiana, there's no first-degree, second-degree robbery. But in Oregon, first-degree robbery is the worst, obviously. Second-degree and third-degree. I had 3 counts of first-degree because there was 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
I had 3 counts of second-degree. I had an assault and a theft one. Basically, they called. The police weren't interested in what the other guys were doing. You know, that it was we all met up on illegal activity. They were worried about what transpired, you know. My bail was $7 million. They gave me $1 million for each one. My attorney said that it was because I was a flight risk, and they didn't want me to bond out. So I sat in a county jail. They took all my money. I paid a lawyer like $8 grand for my case in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
Before I left, I managed to. I felt like I needed that. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I needed that, just in case it ever came time to fight that. Well, the money I paid him, he at least flew out to Oregon to see me and was like, you know, told me what he thought, yada, yada, yada. But lawyers in Louisiana are slime balls. They'll tell you what you want to hear for them. As soon as they get your pockets, you know what I'm saying, they're going to stop fighting. But I ain't got no money. I mean, they took every dollar.
What ended up happening with the case?
I was in there for 2 months. I got this dickhead lawyer in Louisiana. He's still on my payroll too. I apologize, John. He's a dickhead though. He knows he is. He hadn't even transferred a public defender out of the way to be on my case. So technically I still have a public defender on my case. I sent a kite one day. You done jail time? I sent a kite one day. I said, we was making store. I said, how much is my, what is my commissary balance? I knew I had like $15, $20 left. They wrote me back $10,000, $15. So I'm like, they had to fuck up. You know, I got $10,000 on my. The next day I wake up a mail call. They released my seized funds. They released $10,000. It went straight on my books. I asked everybody, who's the best lawyer? Who's the best lawyer around here? His name's Larry Roloff. He's from Portland. He represents everybody. I ended up signing over all my money on my commissary to him, to hire him. Everything. Mm-hmm. I sat in there for 16 months. And Oregon is a weird fucking place. You know, I'm happy to look. I'm white. I'm glad of who I am. But there's different shades of white people. Oregon is very white. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the South. Got a little flavor, I guess. That place is a weird place. Very weird. I met some cool people, but I met some very, very weird people. It's just,
So your lawyer got you off?
nah. I sat in there for 16 months. I agreed to stay in Oregon. They ended up dropping my bail down because I agreed to live in Oregon. They, after 16 months, I ended up spending the rest of the money I had getting out to get out. And I'm still fighting the case.
Okay.
It's an open case.
Okay.
All they did was drop my bail after 16 months.
Okay.
So I come home. The whole time I was in there, I met so many people. If you could think about it, Southern Oregon, so many growers, so many people in the lane I was in. At least 100, 200 people, everybody. So it was like college. You know what I mean? It was like college. Before I got out, I had my lawyer three-waying people on the lawyer phone that's not recorded. I'm calling everybody. All the partners I still got, everybody. You know, I'm getting out. They dropped my bond. I ended up getting out. My lawyer was on vacation at the time. He had he was holding like $5,000-$6,000 from me. He said, "When I go get you a room, Caleb, when I get back, I'm gonna give you your money. You know, I'm in a town where I don't know anyone. Only people I met in jail. I didn't have a ride home. Somebody called their wife and he gave me a ride. I met him in the hole. They had put me in the hole for making three-way calls on the lawyer phone because it wasn't recorded. You could talk about what you wanted, you know. She had given me a ride. I had stayed at his place. It's crazy to say, bro. I came home to a city that I didn't know anybody. I didn't have no moms there, no pops, and nobody, no friends. I ended up staying with her. My lawyer was on vacation. He was holding $7,000 from me. He's like, when I get back, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna give you your money. I was out for a week. When he called me, he said, "Caleb, I'm coming into town. I got the money for you." I said, "Hold it. I don't even need it." In a week's time, coming home to a place where I didn't know nobody.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, he still got it. Just a retainer. I mean, I gave him more than that, but
Yeah.
never.
And you said the case is still open?
No. I was home for a year.
Okay.
In that year, it was a dream come true. It was a dream come true.
What happened?
I reached the heights that I dreamed of. With my back against the wall and everything I faced, and I'm gonna tell you like this: the worst situations in my life have turned out for the better. Every last one of them.
Okay.
It didn't make sense at that time. But as I look back, okay, if this wouldn't have happened, this wouldn't have happened. If this wouldn't have happened, this wouldn't have happened. You know, I wish I could bring my boy back. You know, I wish I didn't have to catch those cases in Louisiana. But if that wouldn't have happened, I would have never left. I would have never left. I had to leave. That's the only reason why I left.
What happened with the case?
Okay. So when I got out on bond, the weed case I had in Louisiana wasn't extraditable. So technically I could have went to Texas. You know, whenever I got in trouble the first time, when I got hemmed up with my probation officer, it was non-extraditable. So I bonded out. I was out for a year. I did my thing, stacked what I could. I ended up meeting my baby moms. That's another story, but I got sentenced to a year and a half.
Okay.
So overall, I did about almost 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. I got sentenced to almost 2 years penitentiary time. When I got to, I turned myself in. This was January of 2019. Yeah, Yeah.
Okay.
January 2019, I went to the penitentiary.
Okay.
I was released March of 2020. The prison in Oregon was a cakewalk. I seen more fights in the high school I was in Louisiana than prison. It was a weird place. You know, I don't judge nobody. I got friends of all nationalities, of all colors, but just seeing that in there, it was weird. I didn't talk. Me and my black partners in there, we hoop all day. Me and the Pisces cook, and I'd play poker. That was prison. And I watched TV. It was a cakewalk. It was very petty. It was weird. You know, it was Louisiana. I would have much rather be in Louisiana jail, and it's active there.
Okay.
It was so boring though, bro. Time went by so. There was no activity. There was no action. There was nothing. There was no cell phones. There was.
Well, doing time ain't supposed to be an incredible place.
No, but
it's not Disneyland. You know what I mean? You're not there. You're not there for excitement. But I mean, man, you got a serious story. You know, you've been through a lot, and now you're in a better position than you've ever been in your life. And you know, thank you for coming on the show today. I mean, I really appreciate it. It's looking like we might end up needing a part 2, man. But once again, thank everybody, man, for tuning in. OG Suicide in the building, where mental health is important. Also, go to ogsuicideinthebuilding.com. Get your merchandise. Stay tuned for this episode with my loved one, man, West Coast KB. Appreciate you, family.
Thank you, bro.